And it's something I would love to share, but I don't actually own any of the recipes that I was making, so I can't do that, sadly. So right now I am a pastry cook in a restaurant, but previously I was a gelataia. I was the person who made gelato, and before that I sold gelato in a different gelateria. If you'd like to know the basic non-scientific differences between gelato and ice cream, typically gelato has a lower fat content, a lower sugar content. Typically there are fewer ingredients, there's less air, and it's more dense, generally speaking, which is what gives it that kind of characteristic creamy, thick, melt in the mouth texture that regular ice cream doesn't really have. That said, you also can find it very, very bad gelato here in Italy, don't get me wrong. And the reason I've never really shared the kind of process of making any of the gelato that I made was I've always worked for other companies, never for myself. When selling and when making, obviously those are things, recipes, copyright, everything that belongs to the places I've worked for, so can't and won't be sharing those. It should also be said though that if that is something you are interested in, most of the kind of big, super popular, successful, and especially chain gelato places tend not to make things from scratch. You know, things are made from kind of ready-made powders. Of course, there will be fresh ingredients in there, such as milk, cream, fruit, etc., and any flavorings that needed to be added, but typically bases are sold and bought as bases, you know, powdered bases, whether they contain sugar, sweeteners, emulsifiers, thickeners, things like that. So it's perhaps a slightly less romantic process than it was a long time ago. There are many small places, many artisanal places, sorry, that do it kind of properly from zero, but they're few and far between nowadays. So while I can offer you many dessert recipes on maverickbaking.com and here on the channel, gelato recipes are not mine to share, the ones I have at least. I do have a couple of semi-freddo and very basic kind of at-home easy gelato recipes on my site, but it's not the gelato that you would get in a gelateria, though it's still nice.